Have you ever questioned why there are cats? Not just how they came to be, but why they were ever made at all. It is a creature that walks between worlds, silent, yet powerful, distant, yet deeply present. In every culture, cats carry mystery. They are worshipped as gods, feared as omens, and loved as family. But according to an ancient legend, cats were not born in temples or jungles. Their story began in one of humanity's darkest hours. Welcome to Legends and Empires. Today, we will explore the mysterious creation of one of history's most fascinating creatures, the cat. Stay with us until the end to hear the wonderful story of how this quiet guardian came to live among us. The world before the storm. Long, long ago, in an age lost to time, the world had turned away from the light. People became cruel and selfish. Their hearts hardened against one another and the divine. Seeing the corruption that filled the earth, the Creator sent a prophet, a righteous man named Noah, to guide them back. For years, Noah spoke. He pleaded, he warned, he called for repentance. But the people only laughed. They mocked the old man and his talk of a coming judgment. And so, a painful command was given. A great flood would cleanse the world, and a new beginning would be built from those who held on to goodness. Noah was instructed to build an ark, a massive ship of salvation. He was to gather his family, the last faithful souls, and a pair of every animal, great and small, to preserve the spark of life itself. The storm and the ark. The sky turned black. Thunder rolled like the roar of 1,000 beasts. Rain fell in sheets, pounding the roof of the newly finished ark. Inside, every living thing waited in darkness, two by two. The ark groaned and swayed, but it held. Noah and his family prayed, fed the animals, and tried to calm their fear, hoping that soon the flood would end and they could step onto a purified earth. But a new threat appeared, small enough to hide, yet powerful enough to destroy everything from within. The rats came. At first, a few tiny shapes in the shadows. Then dozens. Then hundreds. They chewed through ropes, through sacks of grain, even through the wood itself. They multiplied faster than anyone could stop them. Food began to vanish. Disease spread. The animals grew restless and hungry. And Noah, seeing the danger, feared that the ark itself would become a tomb. The world's second chance was being eaten away in the dark. The ark was meant to preserve life, but inside, chaos was taking over. If something wasn't done, it would all be lost. So Noah prayed. He asked God for mercy, for a solution to this invisible enemy, for a way to restore balance among his creations. The divine answer. And the story says that God answered in an unexpected way. One of the great beasts, a mighty tiger, its coat like living ember, sensed the despair and the imbalance within the ark. It lifted its great head, twitched its whiskers, and let forth a powerful, directed breath. This was no mere sneeze. It was a focused exhalation, a spark of divine will, made manifest. And from that sacred breath, two small creatures appeared. They were designed for this very purpose. Paws soft as falling dust to move in silence, claws sharp as needles to grasp their prey, and eyes like captured sunlight that could pierce the deepest shadows. They were the perfect answer to a problem of stealth and multiplication. The ark fell quiet as the new creatures began to move. They didn't roar, they didn't bark, they simply disappeared into the dark. Moments later came the faint scurry of rats, and then silence. The two creatures moved with grace and precision, darting over barrels, climbing ropes, hunting without sound or hesitation. By morning, the ark was calm again. The food was safe, the ropes were whole, the air smelled clean. Noah smiled and knelt. One of the creatures paused, considered him with its luminous eyes, and then, in an act of unprecedented trust, brushed its head against his fingers. It was not submission, it was an agreement. A partnership was forged in the belly of the ark. Order had returned, not through power or noise, but through grace, patience, and quiet strength. The meaning of creation. That moment was more than survival. It carried a divine message, a truth hidden in the smallest act of creation. The cat was not made for destruction. It was created to bring harmony, to remind us that sometimes the gentlest force can silence the loudest chaos. Since that day, the cat has carried that purpose in its soul. It moves quietly. It observes without pride or noise. It restores balance wherever disorder appears. That's why the cat feels both part of this world and apart from it, as if it remembers something ancient, something we have forgotten. It is not just an animal. It is a sign that balance itself is sacred. After the flood, when the rain finally stopped and the ark came to rest upon the mountain, the cats stepped into the sunlight for the first time. The world was empty, silent, and new. The air smelled of earth and hope. They blinked in the light and began to explore the land. And from that moment, they became part of every civilization that followed. In ancient Egypt, cats were honored as protectors. They were worshipped as symbols of grace and purity. Temples were built in their name. Families mummified them as beloved companions. To harm a cat was to offend the gods. In Persia, cats were seen as wise and noble, creatures that brought calm and purity into the home. In Arabia, they were respected and deeply loved. It is said that the Prophet Muhammad cherished his cat, Muetza, that once, rather than disturb her sleep, he cut a piece from his robe so she could rest undisturbed. Cats were seen as clean, gentle, and deserving of compassion, but not all the world understood them. In the Middle Ages, cats were accused of witchcraft. Thousands were killed out of superstition, and when the cats vanished, the rats returned, bringing the plague that devastated the continent. It was as if the balance of the ark had been broken once again. The duality of the cat. Through the ages, the cat has remained both wild and domestic. It lives beside humans, but it never truly belongs to them. It accepts affection, but only on its own terms. It is a guardian, a hunter, and a companion, a creature that walks the border between independence and trust. That is what makes the cat so extraordinary. It was never created to obey. It was created to coexist. Watch a cat move, and you can still see echoes of its first night. Each step deliberate, each glance aware. It doesn't need to make noise to command attention. Its silence is its strength, and when its work is done, it does not roar in victory. It offers a gentle rumble, a purr, a vibration that calms the storm within a human heart, continuing its sacred duty of restoring balance. Even modern science agrees, cats are unlike any other domesticated animal. They are believed to have domesticated themselves, choosing to live alongside humans, not out of submission, but partnership. As if they still remember why they were made, to serve quietly and to restore balance when it is lost. So the next time you see a cat, don't just see a pet, or a hunter, or a quiet observer. See a creature born in the heart of a storm, a guardian, created to protect life, and to bring peace when the world was drowning in chaos. Look into its eyes. Behind that calm, unblinking gaze lies a memory older than history. It remembers the flood. It remembers the ark. It remembers the breath of the great tiger and the divine command that gave it life. The cat did not come into the world by chance. It came with purpose, to remind us that true power is quiet and that harmony is the most sacred form of strength. Every creation has a reason. Some are loud and obvious. Others, like the cat, are silent and eternal. Thank you for journeying with us into this legend. If this story revealed a new light on a familiar friend, then do us a favor. Share this video with someone who needs a little mystery in their day. Subscribe to Legends and Empires for more tales from the forgotten corners of history. And let us know in the comments, what legendary creature should we explore next?